guys, I am back to film my book haul for the month of November 2020. I bought a lot of romance again. We're not at all surprised. I kind of went crazy. I'm gonna tell myself in December to not buy as many, but who knows? We'll see what happens. I'm definitely gonna work on having a budget and sticking to it in 2021 for sure, because this is a little crazy. But anyways, like usual, I will show you guys the non-romance books first, and then we'll get into the romance, which will be most of this video. But just so you guys know, it's actually November the 21st when I'm filming this, so this is everything that's come in so far. I do have, I think, a few other things that are coming in. Target also had a sale, and I may have bought like 6 romance books, but that hasn't shipped yet, so we're just gonna put that in December because there's too much as is already. Heck yeah. So, yes, this is what I've gotten so far. I think, most of the books that I, pre-ordered, I believe have already shipped. So, I think the only other books that I have coming are, the random ones that I got from Target. So, I'll just put those in December's. But anyways, okay. First off, I ended up getting the Camelot Betrayal. This is the second book in the Camelot Rising series. I don't know how many books are in the series. The Guinevere Deception was the first one. I really liked it. This one just continues on in the story. It's basically about, well, the first one was about Guinevere, who is basically not exactly who she seems, and she was basically sent to essentially make sure King Arthur stays safe. And then this just continues the storyline. I don't want to say too much because obviously this is the second book in a series, but I really enjoyed the first one, so I was looking forward to getting the second one, and I had to pre-order it. The next one I ended up getting was because of April. She mentioned it as something she was excited for that was coming out in November, so I ended up pre-ordering it as well. And it is This Is Not a Ghost Story. I'm kind of hoping it's a ghost story because it sounds like one. So it's basically about a girl who ends up trying to find a job before she goes off to college. And so she finds a job house sitting in a mansion for a wealthy couple. And then spooky things happen in the mansion. So I'm hoping it's a ghost story, but it's saying it's not a ghost story, so we'll see. But I had to buy it because it sounds awesome. I love when, houses are haunted. Yeah. And then the last one that was not well, technically this is a romance, but it's technically, I think this is a young adult romance, which I don't really have, that many at all, because most of mine are just the mass market paperbacks, and I've been really into historical romance recently. But this one, Shae mentioned for her books that she was looking forward to coming out in November, so I pre-ordered it, and it is Beautiful Wild. Look at that cover. That cover is gorgeous. So this is basically about a girl who you're invited to set sail on the maiden voyage of the SS Princess of the Pacific, departing the port of San Francisco Saturday, October 21st, 1905. So she is on a cruise with this guy that she wants to marry, and however that guy also brings his best friend who's this rough around the edges boy, and then a hurricane hits the ship, and basically the three of them are stranded on a deserted island. And it sounds amazing, so I'm looking forward to it. Okay. And then the rest of the books are all mass market paperbacks because Lindsay went crazy. Because that's apparently just what I do nowadays. Okay. Gotta run the tails. There we go. Okay. I don't think any method to this madness. Basically, some of these are books that other romance YouTubers have mentioned in their videos. I should try and remember I'm gonna try and do better about this. Like, if it's a recommendation from someone, I'm gonna try and, like, remember to put, like, a sticky on top of who recommended it. But some of them were recommendations, some of them were just me trying to get more in a series, I believe. And yeah, there's just a lot of random. Okay. So first one, we have got this one, which is Heiress for Hire. It's the first in a series, The Duke's Heiress. And this one... So basically Minerva, interesting name. So she has a guy breaks into her house, and instead of like, oh, freaking out, she wallops him on the head and ties him up, and realizes that the guy is actually Chase, who is the grandson of a lord, and a man who makes it his business to investigate suspicious matters. Now he insists that Minerva is inheriting a fortune from his uncle, a wealthy duke. Only one thing could surprise her more: her sudden attraction to the man. Chase can't decide whether Minerva is the wronged woman or a femme fatale. Either way, he's intrigued. So, yeah, you know me. Romance. The next one that I ended up getting is this one, is the first in the Wiles of Lindo Meh. Castle. This one I know someone mentioned, saying that this is a really fun series. So he basically is the son of the Duke. He's the most celebrated man in England and revered for his like dangerous adventures and good looks, and he arrives back home from being like abroad for years, doesn't realize he's like essentially become a celebrity. And there's this like a whole bunch of screaming ladies who are like trying to like get with him because he's so famous. And he just like doesn't want to deal with any of that, and then he runs into Wilma? She loves books, she likes jokes, she wants a man who has a private life, and yeah. So, and then it also has, hello, step back. So pretty. So there's that one. And then the next one I ended up getting is another book from her, and this is actually, I believe this is the prequel to that series. And everyone said that this is like the sweetest little romance ever. So that's why I wanted to read it. It's Hugo. He has a castle, 8 children, and no wife. Ophelia has a fine house, 1 well-behaved daughter, and no husband. So he decides that he's in love with her. Love at first sight, wants her, and she's like, no, I don't need a castle, I don't need more children. No. And he starts wooing her, and everyone says it's like the cutest little romance ever. So I ended up getting that one. The next one I got is, so I've started reading Kerrigan Byrne's The Red Rogue series. I believe that's what it's called. I've read the first one, and I'm in the middle of All Scott and Bothered for the Rake Society read for this month. And so I was like, well, what else? What other good Kerrigan Byrne series are they? And Shae said that she really liked the Highwayman series. I'm not sure if that's the name of the series, but the first book in the series is the Highwayman. So I ended up grabbing it. So this is the first book in that series, which is another one by Kerrigan Byrne. That's the gorgeous cover. So I figured I would give that one a try. The next one I ended up getting is, everyone has mentioned that this is like one of their favorite historical female romance is, so I ended up snagging it. So it is The Lady's Guide to Celestial Mechanics, and this one is about Lucy, who is watching her ex-lover's wedding, and then she finds a letter from the Countess of Moth looking for someone to translate a groundbreaking French astronomy text. So it's, you know, I love it when they're like scientists and stuff like that. So she shows up to like take on that challenge, and the woman who has it is Catherine, looking forward to a quiet widowhood once her late husband's scientific legacy is fulfilled. She's expected to hand off the translations and wash her hands of the project. Instead, she's intrigued by the young woman who turns up at her door, begging to be allowed to do the work, and she agrees to let Lucy stay. And then they, fall into love. This one also does a whole bunch of male ones too, so I'm very tempted to check those out as well. Next one I ended up getting was Sophie Jordan, just because I knew Shae had said that she really liked, I think she liked one of the Sophie Jordans that she read. I don't know if I think she might have read a few, and I think she definitely liked one. I don't know if she liked this one, but this was the one that I found that was Sophie Jordan at Target, so I ended up snagging it. And it is The Virgin and the Rogue. So I'm assuming this is the first book in this series. I didn't actually think to look. I probably should have looked. But this one is about Charlotte, who has always been the prudent middle sister, so her family's not surprised when she makes a safe choice and agrees to wed her childhood sweetheart. When she finds herself under the weather and drinking a healing tonic, the potion proves the most maddening desires for someone other than her betrothed. Yeah, sounds about right. Then the next one is, I think this is the only one from her. Yeah. So I got one from Sabrina Jeffries. I believe other people have mentioned her too. And this one is Who Wants to Marry a Duke. I think this is also the first book in a series as well. I just got a whole bunch of first books in series. I'm pretty sure that's what I was doing. A past kiss with adorably bookish Olivia should be barely a memory for Merlot Drake, the Duke of Thornstack. After all, there are countless debutantes for a handsome rake to charm beyond a young lady whose singular passion is chemistry. Yeah, so it's I like it when the women have jobs and they're not just oh, I'm just expected to get married and that's a thing. So, yeah. So then the next one that I ended up getting is this one, which is Brave New Earl, which faked me out because doesn't that look like a step back? Nope, no step back there, fake out. And this one is An Earl mired in melancholy is no match for a determined woman. So it's Benjamin, who's given up hope of finding happiness. His wife died of childbirth, leaving him with a broken heart and a child who only reminds him of loss. Jean is a cousin by marriage. She's doted as Benjamin's late countess and can't bear it when she hears rumors that the Earl is too bereaved to care for his young son. She arrives to evaluate the fitness of the father and, if necessary, take the son away. And I'm sure they fall in love, because romance. Okay, the next one that I ended up getting is Beyond Scandal and Desire. I think this is also the first book, A Sin for All Seasons novel. I don't know. I'll have to look it up, because I was trying to make sure that I got the first in series, because I'm trying to make sure I read books in series if I have them. So this one is Mick, who's the illegitimate son of a duke, was handed over to a commoner. He's become a successful businessman, but all his wealth hasn't satisfied his need for revenge against the men who still won't acknowledge him. What else can Mick do but destroy the duke's legitimate son and woo the heir betrothed to that one into his arms? So there's that. And I'm assuming that happens. The next one that I ended up getting this was also another one that Shae had mentioned, one that she was looking forward to. So I ended up getting it because it sounded pretty, and it is A Duchess a Day. I also think this is, I'm guessing, the first book in a series. When I add them to Goodreads, we're going to figure it out. So, this is Lady Helena Lark has spent years trying to escape her wedding to the vain and boring Duke of Lux. She evades, refuses, and even runs away. When her family's patience runs out, they pack her up to London to walk down the aisles. But she has another idea: find a more suitable bride to take her place, even if she must look for a replacement duchess every day. And then there's the bodyguard, Deacon, who is supposed to escort her to France. And I'm assuming that they fall in love, obviously. So there is that one. The next one I got is from Ella Quinn. I also think I've heard people, like, I got a lot of random authors because there's a lot of a lot of authors that write historical fiction, and I figure I should try some of them besides just sticking to, you know, the same few that I have right now. So I ended up getting this one, which is The Most Eligible Lord in London, first in a new series, because that's what I'm doing right now. Handsome, rakish, flirtatious Frederick is notorious. Lady Madeline is resolved to keep him at arm's length during her first season, until she overhears another woman's plot to trick him into marriage. Even a rogue is undeserving of such deception, and, oh, not Madeline, Adeline feels obligated to warn him, only to find herself precariously attracted. Oh, yeah. The next one I ended up getting is not Ella Quinn, but Julia Quinn. So everyone is like really talking about Julia Quinn because of the Bridgerton series that's coming out on Netflix. I'm trying to decide if I want to read the Bridgerton series or not. I've seen a lot of people doing reaction videos to the first book in the series, and I just really don't like what happens in that first book, and I'm just not sure if I even want to like I should read the first book, but like I really don't want to have to deal with like what happens in the first book because it just seems like it's like not cool. So I'm trying to decide if I should just like, is it worth it to power through it or not? But anyways, I ended up getting First Comes Scandal, which is actually the prequel to it, and I'm assuming, gosh, I hope I got right, no one has said that there's anything weird in this one. So I ended up finding this at Target, and it was like, she's basically given choices. She doesn't want to marry, but with her reputation hanging by a thread, after she's abducted for her dowry, she's basically given two options: live her days as a spinster or marry the rogue who ruined her life. And then option number 3 is the fourth son of an earl, Nicholas, has basically been told that this girl, who was actually like his girl next door, is facing ruins, and he wants to like basically marry her for a marriage of convenience to save her. So it sounds cute. So there is that one. And then the very last book that I ended up getting was me continuing. I have a feeling I'm just gonna basically end up buying everything that Tessa Dare writes. I got from Castles Ever After. I read the first one, Romancing the Duke. I loved it. I have the third one, but I don't want to read the third one until I get the second one. I ordered the second one from Books A Million, but was actually back ordered, so it is shipped, but I haven't gotten it yet. So it'll just be in my December haul. But I basically just want to read everything that she writes. So I ended up getting A Night to Surrender, which is actually, I believe, the first book in Spindle Cove series. So Spindle Cove is like, it sounds hilarious because it's just basically like this island for like women who just don't want to get married, so they just spinster island. So it sounds amazing. And there is Victor, who's the new Earl, and he's basically has to go there because he's basically been told that he needs to gather a militia and like create a militia on that island. And he's like, dude, it's all women, how am I supposed to do this? And then he meets Susanna, and she is determined to save her personal utopia from the invasion of his makeshift army. And it just sounds amazing. I think I have like another book from Spindle Cove. I think there's one book that I have that's actually like a cross between Spindle Cove and something else. One of the other series. What was it called? I can't remember. But anyways. So yeah, that is everything that I got for the month of November. Not counting all the stuff that I got from Target that we're just going to put in December's haul. Shh. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys later for the next one. Everyone have a very good rest of the day. Bye!